My senior year of high school, 2 weeks before I graduated, my best friend of 3.5 years went missing. It was a Monday night that he went to the library and never came home. Tuesday morning, I got a call to the principal's office, and he said, "Have you talked to your friend Chip?" And I said, "No, I haven't. Why? What's wrong?" And he explained to me about the library and how he hadn't come home. So I immediately left school, tried calling Chip a couple times, left messages, and went straight to his house. Got there, and his mom pretty much filled me in on the rest. His mom was real busy calling hospitals just to see maybe if someone had been put into a hospital that had gotten into an accident but didn't have identification or something. So while she was busy with that, something clicked in my head, I needed to do something. So I called the police, and they told me that they could fill out a missing persons report, but it would have to be a certain amount of hours before they sent out any search parties or anything because he was over 18. And I said, "Well, couldn't you guys do an Amber Alert?" And he explained to me that they couldn't because an Amber Alert only covers ages 17 and younger. And I thought that was pretty strange. Because the police couldn't really do anything to help us out for a little while, me and some friends thought it would be a really good idea to put together some search parties, go through the woods in the local areas. So we did some searching and didn't find anything. So 3 days later, on a Thursday night, the detectives found Chip's car in the woods 30 miles from where we lived. His body was in the trunk, and he had been shot 3 times in the head and partially burned. Not even 12 hours after they found Chip's body, they arrested the person who did it. I decided to take off school. I had planned on coming down to Full Sail September and starting school then and recording arts. And when this happened, I just wasn't ready for it. And I decided to take some time off and spend time with Chip's family and with my family and stay for the trial. 2 months later, the guy that did it pled guilty. Got 2 life sentences in 27 years with no chance of parole. 8 months after Chip died, we had an idea. We had all thought back on when we had no help from police because Chip was 18, and we thought that whole system was not right. That wasn't working, So we spoke to a delegate, Catherine Wydell. We immediately started working on a bill called the Chip Alert. I started a Facebook group and a MySpace, and people started joining. And within 3 weeks, 8,000 kids had joined. And I asked them to send me messages telling why they thought that a change in the Amber Alert was needed and where they were from. Within 4 weeks, I had messages from all over the United States from 8,000 kids. I had 8,000 messages in my hand, printed out, ready to go to these congressional meetings. And I took them to Congress, and I showed them. They were overwhelmed by how many kids we had got involved in this and how many people were wanting this change in the Amber Alert system. It took us 3 months of congressional assembly meetings and general assembly stuff, speaking there. Finally, we got the bill passed. What the bill did was change the Amber Alert in Virginia so that it covered all high school students, not just age 17 and younger. And that's a huge accomplishment. It may not have saved Chip, but it can save kids in the future. I was really glad that I could take something so negative and turn a positive out of it, and do it in Chip's name and in his memory. And that made me feel really good. Really, really good. You're probably wondering why I told you this story. I'll tell you. Before all this stuff happened to me, in high school, I slacked off a lot and I didn't do much work. I did what I needed to do to get to get by, to pass the classes, and go the extra mile. I didn't do my homework. I didn't study. I didn't really care about school. I was immature, and all I really cared about was goofing around and having a good time. During all this, something clicked in my head, and I matured a lot. My grandma said a couple months after all this happened that if anything good came out of what happened to Chip, it was that I grew up. And that really made me think, and that's when I kind of realized, I'd never really been mature in my life up until this point, and it was because of passion. There was something passionate in my life, and that was this. I knew how it felt to lose someone, and kind of feel on your own, trying to do everything you can to help find that person. And I thought that it was important enough, to take a year off from school and do something I was passionate about. And I've matured a lot because of it. I'm really glad that I did, because now I'm ready to be here at school. I'm ready to have some good times, but be serious about it too. I've been passionate about music since I was a little kid. My uncles all work in a recording studio, and they own a recording studio. And I've been around music since I was this big. And so this is what I want to do. I've always wanted to do this, but I always haven't had the strength of mind to know that I can do something. And with everything that's happened in the last year, I know now that I can do something if I put my mind to it. I can go above and beyond, and I'm glad that I know that now. And I know that getting through this program will eventually get me to where I want to be, which is in the music business. I want to produce albums. When I put my mind to this program and to this work, I'll get through it, and eventually I'll get to where I'd like to be.